Hello, happy Monday. So it is the first Monday in April, and how are you feeling about it? So I'm going to just wait a minute, see if anyone joins, and then I'll get started. All right, so I'm going to just jump in. And so the title of this is My Eagle Friend. Now, I want to tell a little bit about something that happened to me last month back in March when I was driving. So it got me thinking about identity, and it got me thinking about a lot of things actually. Success being one of them, freedom being another one of them, confidence being another one, but primarily identity. So I actually, even before I get into the story, want to tell you all that April is National Stress Awareness Month. So I want to tie that in with what I want to share with you all this evening, because stress can weigh us down. And when we are going through things, when we are healing from trauma and our identity has been wounded, or it's been diverted from what we thought or who we thought we were or how we saw ourselves, stress is going to build up. So obviously, right? So, in April, in this month of Stress Awareness Month, I think that it's going to be important for me to, share things about stress, relieving stress, releasing stress, and so on. So I want to start by sharing about the Eagle story, like I said. So it was about a month ago, and I was driving upstate. I was actually on Route 17. I was going west. So I was driving along, and all of a sudden I saw this huge, enormous bird on the side of the road. And I was like, what is that? Is that a bald eagle? And it was. It was literally, I've seen photos. It looked exactly, when you've never seen something in real life, but you've seen photos of it, and then you do finally, like years and years later, after having seen photos of that person or that place or that animal, whatever it is, you see it in real life and you're like, oh my gosh, it looks exactly like how all the pictures are. So yes, he was big. He was enormous. In fact, actually, even in the pictures, I didn't realize that they're really quite tall. He was probably like 3 or 4 feet. So, but his head and his beak, everything, he looked exactly like what I've seen on postage stamps or in pictures. So it was really cool. So being a photographer, naturally, what was the first thing I did? I just pulled off to the side of the road and I said, I'm going to grab my cell phone, because my camera is in my trunk and I didn't really have that much time to grab my camera. It's like, I'm just going to take my cell phone and see if I can get a photo of him. Well, I was wearing a red sweater that particular day. So I'm sure this poor bird was like, who is this lady? He didn't even know probably I was a lady. He's like, probably, who is this thing? What is this thing in this bright red sweater walking towards me going to do to me? So of course, the poor guy or girl, I don't know, maybe it was a woman, maybe it was a male, I'm not sure. I don't know how to identify, eagles that well. So, so yes, so the bird started to take off. Now, of course, there's so many motivational speeches, and even there's songs, right? Like the song Fly Like an Eagle, right? I think it's from the 80s, maybe 90s, but I think 80s. Excuse me. So, right, there's so many things about flying like an eagle or soaring, right? That's supposed to inspire us and motivate us. But let me tell you, this poor eagle was awkward. Okay. He's big, right? So he's tall. I mean, I looked it up and I think they're like 3 or 4 feet tall. So he's this tall bird and he's got this enormous wingspan, right? What is a eagle meant to do? What's the purpose of an eagle, right? They ride the air currents and they float, right? They glide and they look really graceful. Not on takeoff. This poor thing was like whoosh, whoosh. He was a little awkward and he was kind of slow. It wasn't like a robin, right? You go to the park or you look in your backyard and you see a robin or a sparrow, right? And they're just kind of like like they zip all over, they just zip up, they zip down, right? Quick. No, this poor guy was a little awkward and slow. Not at all like you would imagine. And I felt really bad. And honestly, I think I didn't go all the way to where he was. I think he might have been having himself a little snack for dinner. He probably was enjoying his meal on the side of the road and I interrupted it. But I am saying this to say, once he got up to a certain height, he started, kind of finding his groove and he started, behaving more like what I would think an eagle would do, which was kind of be graceful in the air. But it made a huge impression on me that he was awkward. And I keep repeating this because this is the thing with us. When something has disappointed us, when something has hurt us, when we have been really wounded badly in life, we don't really soar, right? We might be going through the daily motions, the daily things that we have to do to get done, taking care of ourselves, going to work, taking care of the family, talking with friends, but it kind of hurts, right? It's laborsome. I know at one point when I was really in my darkest points, I really didn't want to talk to anyone. I didn't really want to see anyone. Even though I would go out and I would see people, I wasn't like a hermit. I would have to force myself to go out, and I was awkward. It was hard to get myself out of my apartment, right? So I was kind of like the eagle. And in fact, actually, at one point, because I was so hurt from the trauma that I had gone through and then a heartbreak, I didn't even know who I was. So I kind of wanted to quit. I wanted to quit everything, right? I remember being on a train and saying, God, you could take me out today. That would be good with me. But he didn't, obviously, right? So my identity was broken, right? I was hurt. I was not behaving gracefully. I was definitely not soaring. I was coping, I was managing, but I was not soaring. I wasn't being graceful at all in my life, not to myself, not with God, and I didn't feel graceful towards other people, right? But here's the thing, I'm still here, right? You're still here. So this is great. So we might be kind of like that eagle was, going a little awkwardly, not making that smooth, quick level up, so to speak, right? But we're still going. And here's the thing, what if the eagle hadn't known he was an eagle or she was an eagle, right? What if the eagle had a broken identity and was like, oh, wait, I just saw a robin 5 minutes ago, and the robin was so quick and graceful and fast, and I'm being slow and I'm not good enough. But hey, I must not be good enough because I'm being like a little awkward trying to get my wings to like catch the current and be able to get up to where I really perform well, right? What if the eagle had put himself down? What if he had quit thinking, I'm not flying off the ground like all the other birds, right? And that's what we do to ourselves sometimes, right? We look when our identity is broken and we are kind of lost with who we are and what our purpose is, and we're not feeling good about ourselves, right? A lot of times we give into temptation to look around and say, oh, this is what other women are doing. This is what other men are doing. Or this is what other people in my profession are doing, or other entrepreneurs are doing, or this is how other people have their relationships, right? Like relationship goals, right? Oh, I'm not on the beach having a great time with my man or my woman, right? So things, maybe I'm not good enough, right? Maybe I should quit. Oh, I'm not pretty enough. I'm not talented enough. I'm not intelligent enough. Whatever it is, right? When our identity is broken. And so sometimes, so the eagle, right? He didn't quit. He was, like I said, it was kind of laborsome. He was kind of awkwardly flying. And I'm like acting out flying as an eagle. I don't know why. So, but he kept going. And within not a long time, he was kind of up and he was starting to get his groove on, so to speak, right? But we quit, or we just keep floundering, trying to think that because when our identity is broken, trying to like imitate or copy other people's behaviors or patterns, right? Because our identity isn't quite whole. And that's fine, right? That's where you're at. That was where I was at one point, right? But here are a couple things so that you can keep when you're taking off, even though it might be awkward, it might be slow, it might be difficult and challenging right at the beginning, right? To keep going. And here is one thing. Actually, I'm going to give you two things to do. How other people are behaving, what other people's ideas are, what others' opinions are of you, or what you should do or not do, right? We kind of want to release that, okay? Because then we are going to be kind of perpetually we're never going to get up to where we're supposed to be, to the level we're supposed to be. We're going to be kind of stuck down here trying to flap our wings and putting in a lot of effort and going nowhere fast, right? So releasing the ideas and the opinions of others, right? Now, that's fine, right? You're probably like, okay, Beth, that's great, but where do I get my own ideas? Where do I get my own opinions? How do I know how to behave? Well, my personal opinion is, and this is for me because I can only speak from how I have gone through life and how I have found my way through healing and am still healing, right? It's a healing journey. It can be, quite a long process, right? So what I find to be best is looking for something bigger than me with a better perspective, a broader perspective. Because when I'm here, in my own spot, I only see what's around me in the environment or the area. So where can I find ideas, opinions, guidance, mentorship for how to behave, how to move forward, right? And how to begin forming a new identity. For me, it is through God, through Jesus. Okay, so that's for me. That's how I worked on healing my identity when it was totally shattered and I was not wanting to really move forward. And I was definitely floundering very badly. What I had to do, which was number 2, is really understand what is written in 2 Corinthians 5:17, where it says, the old life or our old life is gone and our new life has begun. So, right, I am a new woman, right? Why am I a new woman? Because of God, right? Because of Jesus, because he is the one who can, when I focus on him, start showing me different things about myself. I can start learning about myself. I can start learning that I am a chosen woman. He chose me. That I am a royal part of a royal priesthood, right? I am royalty. So I am his own. Like I belong to him, right? So I have a different, broader perspective than my own little area of where I was trying to function in, trying to cope in. So as a result, one, releasing ideas, opinions of how others think we should behave, act, think, what we should do, even do for our professions, right? Uh, Releasing those things and remembering that that's the past, right? Someone put you down, someone told you you were going to be nothing. I've heard so many awful stories of people who, when they went to school, their teachers said, "Oh, you're never going to amount to anything. You're not going to be able to be successful." I don't know where these teachers came from, but they really kind of warped at a very early age these people's identities on what they thought their potential was, right? So that's the old, other people's ideas of us, other people's thoughts about us. That, putting that, releasing it, remembering to put that in the past. And of course, when someone really hurts you by putting you down, there's a whole healing, right? You have to learn how to forgive that person. You have to release that person. So when we're letting go of the past, right? A lot of times that requires us in the present as a new woman or as a new man to forgive someone else. And if you need help with that, I can absolutely help you with that. I have a 20-day journal that I am more than happy to uh, send you the link for, so that you can, if you're struggling with being able to release things that you yourself have done or that other people have done to you, their opinions or ideas or how they treated you, right? I can definitely help you with that. Just let me know, put it, in the comments, send me a direct message, and I can send you the link for getting the 20-day forgiveness journal. But forgiveness is a huge part in letting go and moving forward as a new man or as a new woman. And in fact, actually, tying this back into what I said towards the beginning about April being National Stress Awareness Month, we don't always realize it, but that for unforgiveness, holding on and trying to behave a certain way, trying to think a certain way, trying to go and make our decisions based on the opinions of others, those things are incredibly stressful. They will pull us down and will forever be, instead of like the eagle who kind of was starting to get his groove, right? We'll just be kind of like forever flapping, frustrated, exhausted, right? So releasing the old and remembering that we are new. Why are we new? Because when we choose God, when we choose his son Jesus, when we choose even to then have the Holy Spirit guide us in our discovery of ourselves, right? We learn things like we are chosen by God, we are loved, we are wanted by him. He sees us as royal priests, right? So we are royalty. So having that release of the old and bringing in that new of the royalty as a woman or a man, right? Obviously, there are certain tools that you probably will need that I needed. It wasn't like this, right? It took time for me to understand. And I did so many different things, right? To understand and begin to being able to function as a, regal woman, as royalty, as a daughter of God, right? It didn't just happen overnight. It was like a 3-year process. So again, that is something that, I absolutely love helping others with. So if you want information on how you can start transforming your identity, healing your identity, so that you really can begin to understand and walk divinely as a royal man or woman of God, right? I can absolutely share the tools with you that I have used. And even some days, are not good days. And I have to go back and reuse those tools, those things that I have used in the past to, continue on and to remind myself, okay, Beth, you really are a new woman, right? So I absolutely can help you, again, like I said, with healing your identity. And when we begin healing our identity, when we begin redefining it for ourselves, not based on what society says, not based on what family has said, not even based on what our friends say, because sometimes, our friends, some friends are lifelong friends, right? And they're definitely there for us, and they're true blue friends, as they say, right? And then there are some friends, they're not really your friends, right? So, but even the best intentioned friends, right? They have their own perception of you for whatever reason. And I'm not knocking it, okay? Like I'm definitely not knocking it. Like my very close friends, right? I absolutely love them. But at the same time, I have to define myself. Well, I take feedback from my friends. Well, I'm definitely open to things when they say, Beth, you're not right about such and such. That's great. Okay. So I'll take it, right? And I'll think on it. But at the same time, even the people closest to me, I can't be looking to them for my identity. My identity has to come from within. And if I'm hurt, like I was at one point, so very, very hurt, right? The identity coming from within me was incredibly toxic, incredibly stressful. So the one place I was able to find really a healing identity, begin to rediscover myself, begin to learn who I was through God, through God's eyes, what he said about me, what he thinks about me, and go from there. So when we're holding on and we're not really having a healthy identity, when our perspective is kind of, shifted because of the trauma or other toxic situations in our life that may not be traumatic, but they're, not really the best things for us, it can cause incredible amounts of stress. So for National Stress Awareness Month, I definitely recommend releasing the identity that you have created or that has been formed in you based on other people, based on society. And this can be crazy, right? I mean, this can be like super deep, right? This can go through racism. This can go through sexism. This can go through all sorts of different things, right? So it can be very layered and very deep, which is why, releasing the stress is kind of like releasing each layer at a time. I've heard metaphors of peeling like an onion, with layers. Because, and actually I do kind of like that metaphor, even though maybe it's a little bit overused. But when you peel an onion, or when you cut an onion, right, it's kind of a sharp sense, right? It's got like a sharp smell to it. And for me, in the kitchen with onions, I'm crying my eyes out. And that is the thing, right? I'm not saying you want to do everything all at once. Maybe 10 minutes a day you work on, releasing things, asking yourself, why do I believe this about myself? Why do I believe that about myself? Why do I believe this about God? Why do I believe this? Why do I believe that person's right? What, asking yourself questions, maybe 10 minutes a day. You don't need to be dwelling on everything all day, right? You would overwhelm yourself and it would actually cause more harm than good. It wouldn't really be healing for you. But when you're in the kitchen with an onion, right? That sharpness, it brings tears to your eyes. And a lot of times part of healing and part of releasing that stress, part of releasing the old identity, the old pain, the old trauma, it's going to make us cry, right? And so that's okay. And if you are in a place right now where you're crying, know that you're normal. You're not oversensitive, right? that's something that's been crazy damaging, right? Where boys have been taught you can't cry, right? Oh, man up, get your weight up. Um, boys don't cry. That's for babies or that's for girls, right? And so a lot of men, and it's starting to get a little bit better. And I'm always excited when I see other men coaching other men in the attitude of it's okay to cry, it's okay to hurt, because that's normal. That's one way that you actually know you're healing, that you're progressing, that you're going to get out of this like awkward, slow, laborsome, like circular, I can't get to the level where I can soar, right? What, like crying, releasing that is definitely a way that you know that you're starting to be able to release things. So if you're in a season right now where you're just kind of crying a little bit every day, it's okay. You know, if you're crying all day and all night, then that's actually not okay. I would definitely recommend, and I can send you some links. I would definitely recommend meeting with a therapist and getting some support. So, you know, like I said, if you're crying all the time, you can't hardly do anything without crying. You're really, curled up in a ball. That part actually is a warning sign that you've kind of gotten stuck somewhere emotionally. And so I would recommend getting support. But if you're just, it's Monday, you cried this morning for whatever reason, Thursday happens, something happens, and you're thinking about, I remember, when such and so did this to me and they hurt me, and that is making me think that like I'm not intelligent. They said that I'm not smart. They put me down. I got an F on a test, a quiz, whatever it was, and you remember that, and you remember some, and then you cry and you kind of release it. Then you're normal, right? It's a normal part of healing. So I guess I should just clarify that a little bit. But yes, so to sum it up, one last time, and then I'm going to end for the evening. Release the opinions, the ideas, the thoughts, or the things that society or other people have put on you that are weighing you down, that are stressing you out, that are not healthy for you. And remembering that in Christ, that when you chose God, when you chose Jesus, he's going to start helping you. You now have a partner to help you. And you are now a new woman. You are a new man. It may not feel like it. And like I said, if you need help going through the process of like creating and redefining that new identity as a new woman, as a new man, I'm absolutely here to help you. Just reach out, let me know, and we can set up a time to chat, and I'll share how I could possibly help you. And so remember that as a new woman, as a new man, you are royalty, right? You are regal, you are valuable, infinitely valuable. All right, so those are my thoughts. Inspired, I call him my eagle friend. I actually kind of call him Baldy. He was so cute. I know it's kind of weird to call something so fierce and enormous and really amazing cute, but he was, really kind of endearing. And I'm super thankful that I actually had an opportunity to actually see something so magnificent, and see that even something magnificent, it's not always easy, right? There's like a little bit of struggle before, that eagle, before that bird got to, where he was in the flow, moving and grooving way up in the air. So even things that are amazing struggle. All right. So be encouraged with that. When you remember who you are, you're going to keep going. You're going to push through that struggle so that you can get to that level. That's the important thing for what I wanted to share this evening. All right. Have a wonderful evening, and I'll be back next Monday. All right. Peace.